Hey everyone, and welcome to Hemp in a Pan. Today, we'll be showing you how to make a CBD tincture. So what exactly is a tincture, and how is it different from other CBD edibles? Well, a tincture is a medicine made by dissolving a drug into alcohol. In this case, we're dissolving the CBD on the hemp buds into the alcohol. Because of this, a CBD tincture is sort of the same thing as a CBD infused alcohol. Although with a tincture, we're trying to maximize the amount of CBD in each drop to be used in small doses as opposed to a CBD infused alcohol, where each serving is most likely more than a few drops. And by using the drops under the tongue, the arterial blood supply under your tongue will rapidly absorb the CBD, allowing it to take effect much faster than with any edible. So first things first, we're going to be using a lot of medicinal hemp because we need to pack a lot of CBD into each drop. So half an ounce to a full ounce of medicinal hemp is needed. Second, we're more interested in extracting as much of the CBD off the hemp buds as possible than we are the taste of the alcohol. So we're using the highest percentage of alcohol we can find from a distilled beverage. In my case, I'm going with a 750 milliliter bottle of Bacardi 151, which has a 75.5% alcohol content. And for those thinking, why not just use rubbing alcohol then? Don't do this. We're still going to be consuming this, and most rubbing alcohols are made with isopropyl alcohol, which metabolizes different from consumable alcohol and is very harmful if ingested. Now we need to decarboxylate the hemp, and to do so, we'll first grind it up onto a baking sheet. Decarboxylating the hemp will convert the CBDA in the hemp to CBD, and is done so by heating up the hemp buds. So after grinding it all up to help it heat evenly, we'll place this in the oven, which has been preheated to 250 degrees, and we'll let it bake for 30 minutes. After it's done, the grounded buds will have a darker baked color, and you'll want to let it sit a little to have it cool down before handling it. After it's cooled, we'll place the decarboxylated hemp in a jar, and then pour in the alcohol. From here, if you have the time to spare, you can just cover it up and place it somewhere dark for a couple of days to have the CBD infuse with the alcohol slowly over time. Just be sure to give it a good shake once a day if you're going with this method. If you're short on time though, there's actually another method available that'll infuse the tincture much quicker, and that's to give the glass jar a water bath. Heat will expedite the infusion process down to just 20 minutes, except instead of bathing the jar in boiling water, you'll need to lower the heat until the water is down to a low simmer. This is because unlike water, which has a boiling point of 212 degrees Fahrenheit, alcohol has a lower boiling point of just 173 degrees Fahrenheit, which means that the most we should heat up the tincture is 170 degrees to prevent any of the alcohol from burning off. As you can see from the thermometer, this is what a low simmer of 170 degrees looks like, but even if you don't have a cooking thermometer and accidentally burn off a little alcohol, since we're not drinking this for the alcohol content, it shouldn't matter much. Just know that by doing so, it'll make the tincture slightly more concentrated, which will have a stronger effect. You'll need to place something on the bottom of the pot so the jar doesn't have direct contact with the burner. Make sure the water encases the alcohol, but isn't so high that it'll accidentally pour into the jar. And be sure to take the lid off the jar. I also only recommend this if you have an electric burner. I don't recommend using this method with a gas stove, as it's too risky to place something with this high of alcohol content near a fire. Alternatively, if you have a sous vide cooker in your kitchen, this is much better to use to ensure that the water stays at exactly 170 degrees. With a sous vide cooker, all you have to do is clip it to the side of a pot, fill it with water, and then set the water temperature to 170 degrees before placing the jar in. Note that water is denser than alcohol, so you need to place something on top of the jar to make sure that it doesn't float. I don't recommend using what I'm using, but it's what I had nearby, so I made it work. Either way, you'll want to heat the tincture uncovered for 20 minutes. After that, we can take it out and just leave it out to cool until it's warm to the touch. Now for both the long method and the quick heating method, the final step is to filter out all the plant material from the tincture. And here you can either use a cheesecloth or a coffee filter. Just place it on a funnel and pour it all through, making sure to squeeze out any alcohol left on the plant material so nothing goes to waste. Depending on how you plan on using the tincture, you'll either want to put it in a dropper for easy consumption, or in my case, a jar to store for future use, as a tincture is really useful for a number of recipes. Just be sure to store this in a dark place, and if available, definitely use a tinted glass jar to further protect the tincture from light. And that's it.